Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe. So when it comes to EVs, just in general, I think the main concerns is just, um, there could be a lot of concerns actually, but I wanted to tackle this one issues when it comes to charging, because I've had my fair share of issues with finding charging spots or EV stations that are not working. Um, Utilizing fast charger, just long lines because more people are adapting to EVs and the charging stations aren't really catching up. So that's kind of my main concern when it comes to charging stations. And then when you do go to charging stations, they might get one that are not working or not charging properly. Or right now, what the issue is with the application, especially the electronic Electrify America, the issue with it was getting stuck on my screen on my phone. So anytime I plug in my phone, it would not release the car. It was still thinking that I'm still plugged into Electrify America's grid. So what would happen is next time I wanted to go charge my vehicle, I would literally have to call the customer service line and have them release the car from the app so I can start charging, which is just insane. But anyway, I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to Australia for this is a pretty good initiative in my opinion. So yeah, name of this article is EV chargers must work 98% of the time as part of new Australian standards, which I like. Especially here in the States, you might go to certain areas and the charging station might not work. And you just run into a couple of different scenarios out there, especially you're trying to adapt into EVs, and a lot of people are adapting over to EVs. But anyway, the Australian government wants to ensure that local electric vehicle owners have access to a consistent and reliable charging network. And from January next year, we'll start to enforce new uptime standards. The federal state government will require all state-funded EV chargers to work at least 98% of the time. I like that. The standard is similar to 99% uptime requirement of a UK and 97% uptime being targeted in the United States. Notice for when it comes to the United States, targeted. They're not actually trying to achieve that. They say that our target goal is trying to get it to about 97%. We don't want to get 99% or 98%. Make sure it stays there. No, our target is just to get it to about 97%, which is just crazy. It'll never be that high. I'll be completely honest with you guys. From my experience, there's always issues when it comes to charging, especially here in the state of California where I live at. One of Australia's largest providers of fast charger, I think it's Tritum, claims the charger it operates through the EV network in Australia currently work 97% of the time, so that's pretty damn good. Driven reports, we've tested EV chargers on numerous occasions and have found them to be reliable and easy to use, something which cannot be said about rival ChargeFox, officially Australia's EV charging network. So, damn, that's pretty good. In addition to new rules necessitating 98% uptime, changes to EV charging standards will also require each charging site to include at least 2 DC charging units with a minimum of 2 plugs each, and at least 1 bay per site must meet disability accessibility parking bay standards. Okay. Additionally, at least 70% of DC fast chargers must include CCS Type 2 plug connectors, reducing the proportion of CHAdeMO, I guess that's what they want to call it, plugs that are most exclusively used by Nissan Leaf in Australia. New regulation will also ensure charging stations have cable long enough for all EVs, regardless of positioning of their EV. I like this one too. I noticed that they've been doing the same thing with Electrify America. So the cords are long enough, so if you want to go plug it on the other side, you can. Especially here in the city of Ontario, the one by the Milliken, by the mall. If you go to that one actually updated them, so now all of them, including, I think they get up to 350 kilowatt, but you rarely ever see that unless it's like a perfect day and your car is just working phenomenal or something like that. As part of a national electric vehicle strategy, the Albanese government is working with states and territories on national consistency to give Australians greater access to charging infrastructure for cleaner, cheaper to run cars. A spokesperson for Federal Energy Minister Chris Bowen said this includes collaborating on payment methods, accessibility, universal chargers so that EV drivers can access a convenient, affordable, and equitable national charging network. Minimum operating standards will help simplify administrations, address range anxiety, and send a strong signal to charge point operators on the sideline requirements. So overall, you know what? It's one thing for governments to say something. It's another for them to actually implement it and be successful at it. They just gotta, because sometimes you give money to all these different companies and then they just kind of like pocket the money. Let's be honest. It's very rare that governments will follow up, or they just kind of like write it as a loss and they just be like, we fucked up. Oh well, we just squandered all of our people's money. Oh well, what the fuck are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna complain about to the government? They run this shit. They don't give a fuck when they lose millions and billions of dollars of your hard-earned money that you pay them. They don't care, man. Some of these programs are just fucking bullshit in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. Let me just end the video here before I go all the way in the deep end here. As always, make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one.